I must tell you, I see many, many movies, practically everything that comes out. I have not been so totally immersed, so engrossed, and so alert, you might say, throughout a film in a long time as I have been missing. It is a thoroughly entertaining film, but also a film that really makes us think. And a lot, I was doing a lot of thinking while it was going on. First of all, I wanted to ask you, has the State Department contacted you directly during the film or since the film?
No, never. And I was really surprised that had the reaction they had after the showing of the movie.
Because they're calling it an anti-American film.
Yeah, but this is, I don't know if they said exactly this, but this is a little bit a too easy reaction. There's so many people involved with that movie, and a big company and big actors. I don't think so. All those people went together to do an anti-American movie. I think it's a very easy accusation. My feeling it's pro-American movie precisely, but because it is done by this country, it is produced by this country, and it shows how this country has the capacity of looking at itself and criticize eventually some situations and making work, making active democracy.
Of course, one of the charges you make in the movie is that the United States government, the State Department, had a complicity in this man's murder, that either they allowed it to happen or somehow they had an involvement with it.
No, it's not the State Department, the American government. It's a particular person who could have that kind of participation. The rest of it, we speak about cover-up more than other involvement.
Could you then ever buy the U.S. government's point of view that they were not to blame in any way? Could they ever show you any proof or evidence where you would believe that they didn't have some involvement?
You know, that's before the movie there was a book in which there is much more not only accusation but also proofs about the cover-up. And there is also all these newspapers, and the books writer did a very good job, researched it, and he spoke with a lot of people. So this is, for my feeling, completely established. There is no any doubt about the cover-up. The problem which remains a little bit vague, but all the elements are there to give you a conviction, to give me a conviction, is the participation of that particular American official on the arresting and probably on the Charles Homan's killing. But he, of course, Charles was killed by the Chilean militaries, but I think the Chilean militaries never could do so without asking or speaking to this particular official with whom they have very, very close relationship.
And which official is that?
It was the one we call Ray Tower in the movie.
Yes, and his official capacity was?
He was the chief of the mill group down there, yes.
You have a title at the opening that says it's a true story.
We say it's based on a true story.
But the title itself doesn't say based, does it? Doesn't it say this is a true story?
No, they say this is based on a true story.
Yes.
It doesn't say the true story.
But even if it says this is based on a true story, we know that every film, even if you had been making a documentary, has to take certain license.
Of course.
So is there anything in this film that you did just for a to dramatically move the plot along?
Yes, there is a couple of things we changed, but essentially, the essential elements, the essential characters, and the essential things said or done, they weren't changed. They were probably a little bit synthesized, a little bit put in a different, how can I say, order, but they are the real things.
For instance, the stadium scene really happened.
Absolutely. The only that's a good example. The only difference is Sissy Spacek didn't go inside the stadium because she was so moved to go in there. So she preferred to stay outside. Only Horman, the father, went inside. So in the movie we put both of them. It's that kind of license we took.
And the morgue scene really happened?
The real morgue scene happened there too. The Teruggi was discovered by some other who, when they saw Sisi, that Teruggi was Sisi, Joyce Horman. But essentially, the Teruggi was discovered in the morgue, killed the way we see it, and so forth.
Do you think that Charles Horman ever was involved with the CIA?
No, I don't think so. You know, Charles Horman was a young American, a little bit neophyte in politics, very humanistic. He traveled through all the Latin America. He saw a lot of things. He disapproved a lot of things. And then he went in Chile, and he thought that was the best country in the world, which, in my feeling, a little bit, there was some kind of mistake also there. But he was anyway better than the other countries. But politically, it was just a young American, a little bit naive, politic, like a lot of young Americans are.
Have you ever had any reprisals, personal reprisals, because of the controversial films you've made, Z or State of Siege, for instance?
What kind of reprisals you mean?
Well, any sort of, where you felt that people were following you or trying to interfere with your work or threatening you, any sort of threatening things?
No, I know some people, they don't like me, or there's so many people who like me, so it's kind of equilibrium.
Well, obviously, it's never been anything bad enough to make you want to give up this kind of filming, has it? Okay. Again, I repeat, an absolutely brilliant film, brilliantly done, and not only wonderfully entertaining, but a film that I don't think any of us will forget for a long time.
Thank you very much.
Very nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a big compliment.
Thank you. It's a wonderful film.
Stand by. Speed. Somebody's playing with the mic.
Oh, that's,
That's me, I'm sorry.
yeah. Okay, questions? Have you had any direct contact with the State Department, either during the again? Has the State Department contacted you at any time, either during the filming or now during the release of the film? I'll try one more time on that one. Have you had any contact from the State Department? Of course, some people are saying that it's an anti-American film. Could you ever be convinced that the United States government, the State Department, didn't have any complicity in this case? Even though you say it's based on a true story. That's not the way I did that. Okay. But any movie has to have some dramatic license. Even documentaries can be slanted one way or another. What are some of the things you have in the movie that aren't just exactly the way it happened in real life? Did the stadium scene really happen? What about the morgue scene? Did that happen the way it's shown in the movie? You've made some very controversial films, Z, State of Siege to name two. Have you ever had any reprisals from films you've made? Things like harassment or threats of any kind. Based on the controversy of previous films, have you ever had any sort of harassment or threats? Okay, that should do it.